The next day at lunch, Liz showed up with the schedule. I've got it all worked out, she said. We have 3 weeks until our presentation. If we work Monday, Wednesday, and Friday after school, and Saturday afternoons too, I think we'll be ready. Maybe. I hope. Were you Why are you two working so hard? Asked Sally when she heard about our plans. I was wondering the same thing myself. Judy had told me Miss Taylor was an easy grader. We could probably wait until the weekend before and still get an A. Marley is going to talk, bragged Liz. Oh yeah, that was why we couldn't wait. I kept trying to forget that part. If the bribe had been anything but a magic square math book, it would have been so easy to refuse. Oh, really? Said Sally, as if that was about as likely as me jumping off the diving board. I suddenly wanted to do it, magic squares or no, just to prove her wrong. Liz elbowed me in the ribs. Tell her, she said. I am, I squeaked. Sally rolled her eyes. Ignore her, ordered Liz. Sometimes she could be as bossy as Sally herself. Now, we just need a place for you to practice. Speaking aloud. The library's out, of course. It needs to be somewhere you feel comfortable, but where we don't have anyone else like a maid or an older sibling hanging around. You don't have a treehouse, do you? I shook my head. Liz thought in silence for a moment. A few tables over, JT shoved a whole slice of orange into his mouth. His bangs fell into his eyes as he started jumping around like a monkey, but somehow he still managed to look cute. The zoo? I suggested. Perfect, said Liz. You can talk to the animals. Great, I thought glumly. Just call me Mr. Doolittle. We started the next afternoon in front of the gorillas. I watched the mother gorilla picking the bugs off her baby for a good 5 minutes before Liz cleared her throat. Okay, said Liz. Now I've prepared a few questions to get you warmed up. I gave her a look. This was sounding pretty stupid. Come on, Marley, they're easy. Give it a shot. Fine, I crossed my arms and stared at her. What's your favorite color? Blue. Who's your favorite singer? Buddy Holliday. I like him too. Did you see him singing Peggy Sue on Ed Sullivan? I nodded. That had been pretty neat. What's your favorite subject? Liz continued. Math. I knew that. And the point of all this is to get you talking, said Liz. I hate to admit it, but her plan had worked. We just had a whole conversation. The next day we met, we moved on to elephants. Liz had read me a part of the notes I had written up. Even though Ruth the elephant was the only one listening, my hands were still trembling. The Kapow families had lots of traditions, I mumbled. The Quapaw, Ruth stomped her foot. Go on, coaxed Liz. Fathers were really important to the Quapaw. Stomp, I paused again. Quapaw, Quapaw, said Liz. Stomp, stomp. Why is the elephant? Liz shrugged. Quapaw, 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 I said. Liz stomped her feet so fast it looked like she was dancing. Liz and I glanced at each other and burst out laughing. It was fun after that, singing to the seals and hollering to the herons. Liz always helped me warm up, like an opera singer, by asking me a few silly questions. Would you rather be a hippo or a rhino? Rhino. If you could only eat one food for the rest of your life, what would it be? Peanut butter. It's the night of the big dance. You were there with JT, and... I don't like JT, I said. You give him his homework every morning, Liz pointed out. Okay, so I did. It's the night of the dance, Liz went on. Would you rather have a pimple on your chin or your forehead? Forehead, of course, I said. I could wear my hair down and hide it. Great, said Liz. Now it's your turn. My turn? To what? I asked. Ask me questions. Actually, I wanted to. We'd been meeting for 2 weeks now, and she knew all sorts of random facts about me. I knew next to nothing about her, except that she was bossy and organized, and actually kind of fun. But when I tried to think up something witty or funny to ask, my mind went blank. What's your favorite color? I asked finally. Green, said Liz, like the grass. Who's your favorite singer? Elvis Presley. What's your favorite subject? English, said Liz. But my mother wishes it was math. Interesting. Part of me wanted to follow up there, but there was something else I was dying to know. Why are you helping me? Because I like to see Ruth dance when you say guapa. This was hard for me. I always told her the truth, and she was turning it into a joke. Seriously. For the first time, Liz was silent. Behind her, the giraffes chewed their cud. I thought it might be hard always being quiet. Liz said finally, I thought you needed a friend. She was right. I did. Oops. I needed a friend too, said Liz. And I suddenly knew what Liz was. A cup of warm milk with a dash of cinnamon. We stuck to the assignment for the rest of the afternoon, walking past the zebras and the flamingos, and finally ending up at the favorite place in front of the lions. There were two lions out that day, both females playing together, jumping over a log, patting an old pumpkin with their paws. I'd never seen them so active. We watched them a long time. Sometimes I feel sorry for them, Liz said suddenly. Why? I asked. They look like they're having a great time. Yeah, she said. And I know they get their food and everything, and if they got sick, a vet gives them medicine. But don't you think they'd rather be chasing a zebra across the savannah? Probably, I agreed. I like to listen to them, Liz said. What? At night, I like to listen to the lions roar. Me too. I never thought anyone else did that. I wondered where she lived. I wonder if she ever invited me to her house. Should I invite her to mine? Wasn't that what friends did? When we first moved here, the roaring used to scare me. But now I find it. Liz paused. Comforting? I suggested. Yeah, she agreed. And for the first time, I understood what Judy was saying about finding someone who shared interests with you. Someone you can sit quietly with. For the first time, I thought I might understand what it was like to have a real friend.